Did you know that there are more than 15 million single mothers in America today? Or that they are actually raising more than 22 million of America's youth? As single parenthood has become more common, many stereotypes about single mothers have become increasingly inaccurate. Much of what people assume about the typical single mother is untrue, or not grounded in fact. It's important to recognize that single mothers arrive at their journey in a variety of ways, and their stories are as varied as they are. Welcome to The Missing Truth, and this is Kristine Kupka's story through the eyes of strangers. Kristine Kupka was the youngest of 6 children, born to her parents in Mount Carroll, a city in Carroll County, Illinois. Her parents divorced and tragedy struck. Her dad was a firefighter. He passed away. After his death, her mother moved the family to Madison, Wisconsin. After she graduated from high school, she enrolled at the University of Wisconsin, but dropped out to experience life. So she moved to Atlanta, Georgia, but wasn't happy there either. She ended up moving to New York City, where her older sister lived. There, she worked as a waitress at a Caribbean restaurant and lived in an apartment with other young people where they split the rent. Later in her 20s, she decided to go back to college and enrolled in Baruch College in Manhattan. Kristine was a very intelligent young lady. She majored in philosophy and had a 3.97 GPA. She also founded the philosophy club at the college. In return, she received a full scholarship for her services. She was described as a person that used to have a hippie, free-spirited flair before becoming a super liberal and independent young lady that only wore black clothes. She had her future planned out, hoping to attend law school after graduation. In 1998, while in her second to last semester, she had to take a chemistry class, would unknowingly fall for her professor, Darshan Prasad, who she called Rudy. It was said Kristine was the pursuer because of her outgoing personality and him being more shy or reserved. Even though there wasn't a huge age difference between the two, their personalities were nothing alike. Even though he had recently graduated from the same college, he had a totally different upbringing than Kristine. He's a Guyanese immigrant, and his father is a Hindu priest. He was just not a chemistry professor, but also a dental school student. The two began dating shortly after she completed his class and continued their relationship for 5 months. He had mentioned to her that he had to attend a business trip in Turkey, but did not ask her to go with him. She was about to graduate college with honors when in June, she found out she was pregnant. She was very happy and excited about becoming a mother, but feared what Rudy would say because they were still in the early stages of their relationship. When she finally got the nerve up to tell him, he was very angry, saying the baby could not be his because he had underwent a partial vasectomy. Then his anger turned into tears, and he confessed something that was unimaginable. He told her he had recently married. The trip to Turkey wasn't a business trip, but it was a honeymoon. He had married a young Bahamian woman. He told her she was going to ruin his life. He said his wife and his parents were going to pay his tuition to dental school, and she can't do this to him. He said his family could not find out about this baby and begged her to abort the baby. Kristine looked forward to becoming a single mom if that's where the situation took her, so she refused the abortion. Over the next several weeks, the wedge between the two became wider. Then Rudy's wife called Kristine after seeing her number pop up on his pager several times. Kristine told his wife about the baby and that she did not want to disrupt the family, but she wanted Rudy to be part of their child's life and said she worried about the baby's emotional well-being if it did not have a relationship with both parents. Kristine intended to name Rudy as the father on her child's birth certificate. She also planned to ask him for financial support for the baby if it became necessary. After having the conversation with his wife, there was no communication between Kristine and Rudy for a while. Then one day, he showed up on her doorstep claiming his wife had thrown him out of the house and he was staying with his cousin. Kristine told her family that she encouraged him to reconcile with his wife. Rudy apparently became more supportive of this pregnancy at the time, suggesting names for the baby and offering to be the birthing coach, which confused Kristine given his early attitude. Unsure if she could trust him, the communication gap between the two started to close. On the morning of October 24th, Kristine's roommate contacted the family and told them that they were concerned about Kristine because she had not returned home since getting into Rudy's car at noontime the day before. Then Kristine's sister seen she had left her a phone message. She stated that she was going out with Rudy to help him clean his new apartment and that she would call later on. The family located Prasad's home and confronted him about Kristine's whereabouts. Rudy's mother alerted her son to the family arrival, and the police were called to prevent any altercations in this case. An incident arose. Rudy told the family that he drove Kristine to a shopping center, then waited in his car for her to return from shopping. Rudy claimed that he dropped Kristine off 2 blocks from her home between 3 and 4 o'clock p.m., as she wanted to walk to a nearby health food store. When Kristine's family asked him which shopping mall he had taken her to, he said that he did not know. Authorities questioned Rudy just once shortly after Kristine's disappearance. Authorities have said that he was cooperative during the interview, but have also mentioned that he did not have an alibi for the time Kristine vanished, and they felt that he was evasive at times during questioning. He hired an attorney a few days later and has not granted any further interviews. Detectives have stated that there is little physical evidence to prove what happened to Kristine, and there was nothing linking Rudy to her disappearance except motive. But they believe she was the victim of a homicide. Kristine's family started questioning people in the neighborhood. A couple of store merchants threw out at first they may have seen her, but then they changed their mind after given time to think about it. Kristine's family has since hired a private investigator and continues to publicize her case. The investigators have stated publicly that he believes Rudy was involved in her disappearance. I completely agree with you. Eventually, Kristine's case was assigned to the police department cold case squad. Authorities received a tip in 2000 telling them to look in the basement of the Jamaica shop, but the owner of the property was Rudy's cousin and would not let them in. But after years of legal wrangling, when a new tenant took over the store and opened a plumbing supply shop, investigators got permission and arrived with shovels, a backhoe, and a cadaver sniffing dog. The detectives and family thought they finally was getting their big break in the 12-year-old case, and they did find bone fragments. But the bone fragments was not human. Another devastating blow to law enforcement and her family. Kristine's case has since grown cold, and with lack of evidence, no arrests have been made. Rudy left Brooklyn and moved his wife and children to Florida, where he has a dental practice. Kristine is a white female that has red hair and blue eyes. Kristine has a scar on her nose as well as freckles. Her ears are pierced. She's 5'8" and 140 pounds. Kristine was 28 years old when she vanished back in 1998, but her current age is 50 years old. She was wearing a lightweight black sweater, a long black skirt, and black boots. Kristine was 5 months pregnant at the time of her October 1998 disappearance. She was scheduled to deliver her child in February or March of 1999. If anyone has any information on Kristine's whereabouts, please call New York Police Department at 646-610-6914. The administrators of the Missing Truth is sending prayers and positive energy out to Kristine's family and hope to guide them in their search for Kristine. For further updates on Kristine's case, subscribe to The Missing Truth to receive notifications, like us, and leave us a comment. If you have a family member or a friend that is missing and you feel their case has not received enough exposure, contact us by email at themissingtruth1@gmail.com or send us a private message on our Facebook page. Like our Facebook page and join us on our private Facebook group. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you to the young lady who reached out to us asking us to tell Kristine's story. And always remember, some sort of truth remains in a lie. Have a good night.